Oh, welcome back, my gardening friends. Well, we don't get a lot of waste at home, but what we do get, I like to bring back to the allotments. This is my worm feed, so a couple of handfuls of tea leaves, a couple of handfuls of coffee grounds, and then some of the blended eggshells. I can't find my bucket full. Again, always be careful of any dust. The worms will tuck into that, so I'm going to put it into the underground worm farms on the asparagus bed. I'm going to try and keep them topped up this time. I do make little covers just to exclude a little bit more light, and I have been to the manure bin to get some worms just to make sure we can repopulate that if they've disappeared because I wasn't keeping up with the feeding. I love this novel way of feeding the asparagus. The roots are in there. So first of all, I'm just going to pop in that little bit of manure. I'll split it up into a third, roughly. And then we'll just add the material. If there's any worms in here from underneath or whatever, they will smell that out. But that just excludes the light, and then we pop that on. Recycle those. These aren't any good anymore. I used to use wooden ones, but they soon went rotten. But I'm glad I've got this little job done. Every little job takes time, and I'm just trying to get another hour's worth of work done on my allotment. I'll just go and do that other mix and do the one that you're sitting on top of. Two bucketfuls is normally enough. That's another good job done. That bed's now finished. It's time for me now to chop and drop this green manure. First of all, I've got to remove the rest of the Brussels sprouts. I'm just checking now to make sure we've got no club root, so this can be safely put into the compost bin. Nice, good, clean, healthy roots. Don't worry about shaking all the soil off. It all helps give you a nice quality compost at the end. Let's bury them Brussels. I don't really want the poppies, in case they continue to grow, but we've got white clover, green field beans and winter tares in this bed, and they've done really well. Not much to chop and drop, chop and drop. This will gather all the nitrogen from the air and store it. and then we're going to chop it. You can dig it in, but I'm trying to be no dig where we can. That's the support wire that you can hear me trying to chop in half. I'll get that done, but you've got the idea. The snow completely flattened this green manure, so there isn't a lot to chop and drop, but on this one I'm going to pop a layer of cardboard. I can plant through the cardboard. If it hasn't rotted down. And then we're going to top up with some compost. I've just done that little bit there just so I've got my picture for my thumbnail. But every year we have to top up with compost, but the cardboard will help. The compost that we get for free, but it's surprising. I've already put 3 bags, 60 litres on there already. So I'm grateful that I do find the unscrupulously done compost. We can add some nutrients, either liquid manure, depending on what we're growing in the spring. Keeping the beds topped up is definitely challenging. Making our own compost mixes, etc. Well, it looks a bit bare, but it's a lot tidier. And that green manure will feed my plants. I do like to protect my soil, protect the worms in various ways. I do keep doing different ways, but cardboard is one of the favourites of mine. It rots down, as you can perhaps see up there. Even though it's really thick cardboard, once the worms start getting at it, you see the activity in there. Quick, they don't like the light. We've used sheep wool for the first time. This is for my newer viewers. I do have to pay for that, but it was £20 for a bulk bag, and there was 10 full sheep fleeces in with a few offcuts. But it's certainly stopped the weeds, and I shall be topping this off with compost as well, and then the plants can feed on the sheep's wool as a nitrogen base. So it's all experimental, but I've used 180 litres of compost here, so how much would that have cost me? So yes, I think it's a good way of mulching and protecting our beds over the winter months. And of course, making use of an empty bed in the autumn, we set up the temporary compost bins. That will give me lots of extra material to top some of the other beds up. I've used autumn leaves, fresh. That's just to mulch the rhubarb. The rhubarb will grow through that, and the worms will keep busy feeding the rhubarb for me. I will add some liquid manure from my manure bin. I think it's still a little bit contaminated from the snow, but having the manure stored in a lined bin in the IBC ensures I don't waste any of the liquids as it rots down, as you would do if you just piled it on your allotment. And I've used some 2-year-old, 3-year-old leaf mould as a comparison in these new beds with the sheep's wool. And as you can see, because they're new beds, they've sunk down really quickly. And the beds that we haven't got covered up get attacked by the pheasants by the look of it, and the weeds do start to grow. So holding them back as long as we can does really help. We open the beds up 2 or 3 weeks before, let the weeds start to get going, pull them out, and then start planting as and when required. Hopefully I'll be able to get some vegetables in this year and look after them. And because we've got no water supply on this allotment, having some blue barrels is really handy. I've just recently cut the tops out of those, so basically all I do is cut where it's flat, then cut enough of that off so that that bit slides inside. And as you can see, we've been using these for the DIY at home. They did come in really useful, so we can now extend this and use this siphoning system to ensure all the tanks are level and keep full. We top these up and then connect the irrigation system to help water our plants. Previous video, we've got some of these tanks filled up now. I've cut the rest of the holly down this morning while I've got a chance, and I've laid my rat in. He'll add a little bit of bone to the mix, and I've moved some things about now back onto there. I'm going to let these settle down. In a month's time I'll start layering them again. That's uncovered that now, so I've pinched some of the cardboard to cover the green manure. I'll use some fresh now because it's easy to get on and off, and I can keep adding the contaminated manure runoff. This got snow in it. This fell into another bin because I broke the tap off when I rubbed my big fat belly along it. That tap needs to be fixed. I've ordered some taps, plastic ones, but somebody did mention that brass ones aren't that much more expensive, so I haven't really looked into that, but I've got enough taps now to help me make sure that everything's hydrated. That's why we've got so much roof space on my allotments. I'll leave it another couple of weeks and then we'll get all this holly burnt, but I've already bought up some dry pallets and some cardboard to help with the burn. But as you can see here, we've got a lot more light now. We've cut down the holly hedge, but hopefully it'll be shaded enough so that the salad crops grow without going bolting, because salad crops, lettuce and that, don't like direct sunlight. And I must tidy this area up. I don't like throwing things out. Mrs. K does, and I salvage them. Oh, poor bunny's gone to sleep, look. I had to have a little sort out. The winds were quite high recently, but the wildflower area does look nice in the spring, summer. I've got quite a few reviews coming up soon. I'll get hundreds of emails from people wanting to do this to my channel, that to my channel. Would you like to review this? No, I don't want mascara, I don't want any makeup. But when there's something that comes along that's interesting for my garden and what I can use, and they want me to review it, then I'm going to. And hopefully it might be useful for you too. So please support me on those reviews. The reviews will be clearly marked in the channel video description there. If you like the content, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the interaction, and throw me a comment. Anything you like. I do like reading them, and I do reply to all the comments. And why not consider subscribing? Happy gardening to you all. Till next time, my friends. Ta-ra for now.